So we are officially on the air, and this is Charlotte Piper coming to you from DragonflyOracle.com. Today is Guru Tuesday, and I'm so happy and blessed to have Travis Smith from a local nonprofit called Impact Locally joining me on today's broadcast. Lots of really exciting things happening in the Impact Locally world, and I've been to a couple of events with where Travis has organized, and they are true to the word, impactful. And he's really doing a lot of great things to make a positive change in the world, embodying that sense of be the change that you wish to see in the world. And so today we're talking to Travis. He's joining us via audio, and I'm so happy to have him. Just a couple of quick announcements. Of course, for those of you that have been following what I've been doing lately, I do have a book that is coming out mid-September. It's called Be Your Own Guru, and it's based on a masterclass that I just published with Authentic You Academy. And the book will be published through Authentic You Media. Available mid-September. I'll have a more solid date in a few weeks as far as when that will debut. Also, a very dear friend of mine and a business associate, business partner, Melissa Ivy, is and also a subject of a previous Guru Tuesday broadcast, will be performing for her first time since regaining her vocal ability. If you are in the state of Colorado or around Denver, I strongly encourage you to head over to luminix.com to purchase a ticket to see her play at Luminix Light and Sound Gallery. And if you need more information, feel free to reach out to me to find out how to go about doing that. Those are really the only announcements I have. Travis, I know you've got a lot of things coming up for you throughout the rest of the month and beyond. Would you like to share a little bit about what's going on for you?
Sure. Basically, some events we have coming up, and they're pretty regularly monthly events. So this Sunday, we're going to have for the homeless tour that goes to 4 different locations downtown. We'll be handing out clothing to roughly about 500 people this Saturday. Starts down in 5 Points at Top Level Point at approximately 12 o'clock or about 2 o'clock. Then the following Sunday, we have our staff lunch event, which is done on the third Sunday of every month. We'll get together at Cervantes, which is down in 5 Points as well. At 12:30, 2:30, lunches for about 1,200 people. The following Sunday after that, we have our hygiene pack handout. We'll be handing out hygiene packs, leading at Cervantes at 12:30. It can go until about 2:30. We'll be handing out hygiene packs to about 500 people that day. I just lost audio. I can't hear you.
So there's a lot of stuff that's going on for you, and a lot of ways that people can get involved with these various events that you have going on. And we'll discuss. I'm sorry?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so there will be, we'll discuss how people can get involved with any or all of the events as we go along through the interview here. And with that, I know your story, but not everybody necessarily does. So I wanted to ask you if you could tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to start Impact, the events that led up to that.
Almost 7 years ago now. At that time, I was running a for-profit business. Nothing at all to do with the homeless. I was the type of person that come up to me 7 years ago. My first sort of response, get a job. And what happened with all of that and changed who I was as a person at my core was I came back in the middle of 2009. My father's passed away, I came back to find out that my business partner was embezzling from me. It went from being a millionaire one day to having $10 to my name, and I almost became homeless. Something I was living in a $500,000 house in Cherry Creek, able to keep the lights on, not able to sell my vehicle, just to keep a roof over my head, so I was having to take the bus. And when I actually go at bus stops and at different nonprofits like myself, so I met a number of people, who changed my perception. I thought homelessness was and why people. And so months later, so about um, the middle of 2010, getting together with four of my friends, kitchen in my house. We would each pitch in 20, $30, each stack lunches and go and hand them out to people downtown. And it was something that after doing that, um, about half a year, I kind of went, wow, the five of us are feeding 100 to 150 people a month, inviting other people to do this with me. So I just started getting on social media and started, saying, hey, anybody wants to join us on this Sunday? Um, it's something that next thing I know, we were doing 300 lunches, then 500 lunches. And then after about a year, I had a client in Philadelphia who seen what I was doing on, social media. I said, look, we want to do what you're doing, but we want to do it here. The first reaction was like, really? Like, you're like, yeah. And so we kind of duplicated the system. And then I had some, kind of had a system down for how to do it. Point that we became a nonprofit. And we've grown in leaps and bounds every single year. Where we initially started off with just one program, and now that we have the hygiene pack program, the clothing mobile store pet program, we have a laundry service program, have getting ready to even develop even further, have a women's domestic violence program. So it's grown by leaps and bounds, and what was just originally here in Denver is now in 10 different cities across the nation.
How exciting. I just lost my camera here, so okay, hold on. Maybe it's going to come back. Okay, at any rate, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the various different programs that you are working with. And let's see here. While I'm trying to work on my camera issue, could you tell me what you have found to be your biggest challenge when it comes to working with the community?
The biggest challenge that I run into is there's two really big challenges that I run into on a regular basis. Is people's perception of, so, a lot of people, I hear this all the time. People go, oh, addicts, a bunch of drunks and alcoholics, drug use, and, and be further from the truth. Statistically, here in Colorado, only 18% of the people that are homeless have an addiction issue. And actually over 30% of the people that are homeless are working. What we've seen happen here in Colorado, especially there's been a very dramatic shift for years in Colorado, especially in Denver, is that the homeless population is low-income families. Now, in Colorado, of the homeless population are low-income families. So I would say that would be the biggest challenge that I run into is getting people to understand the reasons why someone becomes homeless. The other thing that we battle is funding. It's funny. I mentor now a number of other nonprofits and how to get funding and everything else. Um, there's certain nonprofits, if they're dealing with animals, or dealing with kids, or dealing with things very, very easily. But because of that perception that a lot of people have of homeless people, that it's their fault that they're homeless. Um, a lot of people don't donate to, nonprofits or donate to nonprofits that are actually really on the boots doing something, boots on the ground doing something, about it, helping these people to actually change their life. So I'm not hearing you again.
I can definitely understand where you're coming from with that, for sure. I kind of fight those battles myself because I frequently get scolded for, so to speak, for giving money to a person standing on the street with the corner with a sign, and I just operate from the perspective that I'm in no place to judge them. So if I have something to give, then I will give it. And it is a really sad statement about our community, and definitely a challenge that is unfortunate, I would say.
Well,
Um,
and I'll be honest with you, I would be one of those people scolding you about giving money.
yeah,
I often tell people, don't, I know it's the easiest to do what you think is helping somebody, but I would honestly tell anybody, give food, give clothing, actually
right,
conversation with the person and
yeah,
find out, like, okay, what are their actual needs, and then help them fulfill those needs rather than showing here's money. And the reason why is, especially when it comes to the guys that you see on the street corners, there's been a number of studies that show that a lot of those guys actually aren't homeless. So he's
yeah,
doing harm to people that are homeless because people
sure,
go, these people aren't legitimately in need. I see how much money, they're making on the corner. That's not the person that I'm trying to help. The
right.
person I'm trying to help is the person that's sleeping in an alleyway, not the person that has a brand new pair of Nikes.
Right. I get that. So let's see here. With respect to, you were talking a little bit earlier about your clothing drives.
Mm-hmm.
Go into a little bit more detail about what you're doing with those, and how that's working, how
Sure.
people can get involved with that.
So we started which originally started off as a winter clothing drive called Keep Colorado Warm, with the idea of raising up mainly socks, sweaters, hoodies, bean bags, anything we could get to help somebody stay warm. That's now dramatically expanded to where we're clothing about 50,000 people a year. We actually have a mobile clothing store. So we have that we use with a number of bins inside. So we have one truck that's men's truck, one truck that's a women's truck. Pick out the clothing, have volunteers help them with sizes, give them assistance in, getting what they need. When someone shows up, they're able to get, pretty much a brand new outfit, socks, whatever they basically need at that point.
All right. So, and there's a new program that you just started called Hike. which is pretty cool. What is Hike, and why were you inspired to do of this program?
HIKE stands for Helping Impact Kids Explore. Concept is we take 20 to 30 kids out of homeless shelters in about an hour of Denver. There's a few things that inspired this, but the main thing was 5 months ago, I got in a hit and run accident on my motorcycle. When I did, I shattered my left forearm. I couldn't go into the gym. I couldn't, do anything to keep myself, healthy, as much as I could go. After about 2 weeks of doing this and just finding that were really, really close to Denver, why am I not bringing other people with me? Why am I not going down to the homeless shelters, fighting, for people to join me? And it was at that point that a lady named Nicole program came to me and said, I have kids camp, how easy is it to start a nonprofit? I said, well, fairly easy, but I said, how would you feel rather than starting a kids camp, starting a program, working with kids and taking them hiking? And it was an immediate marriage of ideas. That's where Hike was born. And we're actually getting ready to the Hike program into an actual full mentorship program that we're putting together here within the next month or two.
That is really exciting. Keep me updated on when that program transitions for you. Okay. So with that, how is Impact helping women in crisis, and what inspired you to start that, doing work in that area?
How we started our women's domestic violence program, realized the number one cause of homeless is escaping an abusive relationship. In fact, 63% of all women that are homeless in an abusive relationship and were, escaping, trying to basically save themselves and their kids. And so, I had, kind of dancing around the idea of creating a program, and then was like, hey, I have, come from this past, and, I want to help out, and I want to, mentor and guide women. And I went, you know what, let's create a program around that. And so that's what we did. So we created what's called the Standing Up and Moving On program, which basically is on multiple levels. The first is to act as kind of a guidance counselor for women that are either trying to get out of an abusive relationship or trying to recover from an abusive relationship. Guidance counseling is basically you're helping them to navigate resources that are available. So, because a lot of times people don't realize what are the stipulations behind certain resources, what conditions do I have to meet to go. Should I go to a shelter? Should I go to a safe house? Or, options if I can't afford therapy. Is there options for free therapy? What are my legal options? What are my options as far as getting out of, rent? What are my options as far as, putting a restraining order in place? And so we wanted to create a resource map, if you will, navigate that situation. Because I know one of the biggest reasons why people end up staying in that situation, they end up homeless, is because they get frustrated and they give up. And they just go, no one wants to help me. I can't find anybody. You know what? be in an abusive relationship than being homeless, or if they go, you know what, I'd rather be homeless on the streets than in this relationship. And the resources out there, we help people navigate those resources. The thing that we did was we created a support group because probably one of the biggest challenges that women that are getting out of abusive relationships, that their abuser has isolated them and made it to where they don't really have friends, they don't have family, or they don't feel like they can be around those people because a lot of times they have a totally different perception of the abuser. Abusers are usually extremely charismatic, extremely manipulative, to where the family might be like, well, wait a minute, this is a great guy. He's, behind closed doors. So the victim doesn't feel like, wow, I can go and be around my family, or I can go and talk to my friends. There's a support group for that. The second part of that support group was creating events where women could make friendships and get together with each other, not in group activity. They're not talking about the abuse, but just to create new friendships, and so they don't isolate themselves. And then the last two tiers that we've done is some programs to help women get out of an abusive. They say, I live in an apartment. My boyfriend or husband isn't following a restraining order, or the police aren't helping. How do I get out of this? Partnered with some attorneys. We partnered with a couple of organizations to help somebody move out, immediately, their deposit back, get off a lease, and basically get safe. And then lastly, to be able to get furniture for a new place. So you can actually help them get, into a new place and get them furnished. The situation is so dangerous that they can't, move their stuff out and replace that stuff.
Well, thank you so much for doing that work. I personally am a survivor myself of domestic violence, and I can tell you that when I got out of it, I was getting out of my situation. I could have definitely used a program like what Impact is, what you're doing with Impact, because it was really, really, really hard for me, and so I can definitely understand how, and I did end up homeless because of the situation, but through my own sense of determination, I wasn't on the street for long. But not everybody knows what resources or understands how to transcend those types of situations. So it's really great that you're doing that work, especially because most of the time, as you were saying, it's not just a woman that is impacted by domestic violence. There's usually children involved too.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, the women have to choose to leave with their children, which is a hard choice when you don't have any idea where you're going to go or how you're going to eat. So with that in mind, could you tell us all a little bit about what's next for you and Impact? And maybe share some information about how people can get involved with any or all of the programs.
Absolutely. So some of the things that are, kind of around the corner and very immediate, domestic violence program, one of the things we're working on doing is actually starting to educate younger women who are in high school and college, to how to recognize red flags. Some of the technology that exists, there are actually some pretty cool apps and technologies to, get yourself, to a safe place, and also prove that you are being abused, how to help yourself in the court. As I mentioned with the HIKE program, that's getting ready to have a second tier to it. The mentorship program is going to be much more involved. with the kids and kind of, going at just the heights that actually, getting on an educational level with the kids. We're actually in the process right now of partnering with 3 other nonprofits to build the first mobile laundry service truck, um, where 3 days a week we'll be on the streets being able to do laundry for the homeless all over the city. We're in the process of scholarships through a couple of colleges, getting scholarships put where we can help people that are homeless not only get out of homelessness, but also to a point where they're getting educated, getting better jobs, and they're actually starting to get in a place where they can start coming around and giving back. So there's a number of things that are in the works right now and just around the corner. I mean, most of the stuff here is done and to fruition before the end of this year. As far as how to get involved, probably one of the easiest ways is if somebody wants to, they can go online to our website, which is www.impactlocally.org. Again, that's www.impactlocally.org, all common spelling. And there they can go to various, up in the top right, the menu bar, they can look under solutions and see, different programs, prices them, and get involved that way. If they know somebody who's, battling homelessness, or they're possibly battling the potential homelessness themselves, page on that website, so they can find resources, and give guidance themselves, or get guidance. And they're by all means free to email me directly. My email is on the website. Phone number is on the website. If you have any questions about events or want to get involved, we're happy to help. We also deal, if there's any companies that would like to get involved, we do a number of corporate events throughout the month. We do team building events, doing smaller, typically anywhere between 10 to 50-person events, to help them give back on a smaller level, but also so that their staff can do team building. So we're doing that. We can again get a hold of me through the website, and I'll be happy to help them with that.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and I was actually, that was how we were going to wrap up today, is we were going to talk about how to get a hold of you, but since we've already covered that, I just want to go ahead and remind everybody who's watching that the first way to find out more about Impact Locally is by visiting impactlocally.org, so www.impactlocally.org. And there's contact information on the website for how to get a hold of Travis, or how you can get involved with any of the programs or attend any of the local events in Denver, Colorado. And I also just wanted to let everybody know that I'll include all that contact information on my website, dragonflyoracle.com, as well as in the information section underneath this video, which will be live on YouTube. Otherwise, did you have anything else that you wanted to share with us today, Travis, before we sign off?
The only thing that I would, tell everybody is, probably one of the biggest that are homeless battle is the lack of feeling humanity, is lack of being treated as human. People ask me, all the time, what's the best thing I can do? What should I give them? Honestly, the best thing is just as human beings. And if you have the time, and it doesn't have to be a full-on, conversation. Just asking somebody, hey, how's it going? And just talking to them for a second, treating them like you treat anybody else, goes a huge, way. So I highly recommend, because I think once you start to talk with people that are homeless, you start to realize the reality of it, and you start to realize that these people are really no different than you are.
So what you're saying is maybe reaching out with a little bit more kindness and compassion. to those that you have no idea what they're going through, really. Well, Travis, so thank you so much. They're like starting band practice. I don't know. I'm sure you'd be good at, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me today. And I do apologize for the technical problems in the beginning. But otherwise, I'll go ahead and let everybody know how to get a hold of you, how to get involved through my website, YouTube, and social media, and everything else. And really, really appreciate all the work that you're doing to help those who can be able to repay you. So, and that is the biggest testament to kindness and compassion, in my very humble opinion. So.
Well, I definitely appreciate you having me on and giving us some time to talk with people. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yes.
And look forward to what you do in the future.
Well, yes, very looking forward to that for sure. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. For anybody who is viewing this out there, please get involved. You can get involved whether you are local to Denver, Colorado, or if you are anywhere in the world, in the very least, by sending donations, which of course can be submitted through impactlocally.org. And of course, they are tax deductible. So at any rate, thank you, Travis, for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And yeah, we'll be in touch soon.
Sounds good. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.